Hello, welcome back to the channel, or welcome along if it's your first time. This is Nigel with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and here we are now with part 12 of the build of this lovely Pocher Porsche 917K in golf colours. And sorry I missed last week, but here we are, we've got some work done this week to be getting on with. Today is Saturday the 22nd of February, so as once again I've left it to the last minute. And here's what we've done so far along with the engine. And as if you don't know, if you're not familiar with the channel, what I do is some small little modifications and changes going through and painting things. Like, for example, this rear firewall here, this would be black plastic in the kit. I've actually painted it in LP12, which is, I think, the correct colour grey. The actual kit itself is a much lighter grey around here, so I've repainted that because I think it should be slightly darker. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not sort of adding bits really as such, but just a few small changes and painting bits and pieces. If you want to get one of these, there is a link down below where you can go and have a look and get yourself one. And also remember that you don't have to do the mods I'm doing with the painting and everything. You could just build it straight out of the box and it'll be a beautiful model. Indeed, Pocher have got a video series of it being built straight out of the box, so you can go and see. If you do want to see it just being built without any changes, then you can always go over there and watch that. So if you remember in part 11, which was 2 weeks ago now, I'm sorry, we were looking at these bits and pieces here. So in the meantime, I've got lots of painting done. So you can see here for the fuel system, this is the fuel filter. Okay, this is all the fuel system here. This is fuel. This is fuel. Okay, so this is a fuel filter. This is a pump. This is a another fuel swirl pot or something like that. And then over here, this is the oil tank. So this is the main oil tank for the car. The fuel tank is on the other side. So we've got that tray down there, which again is sprayed in the LP12 grey for the correct interior colour. We've got this frame here, which is two pieces. They're glued together, and I've painted those black, even though one of them was silver. I think they should all be black because they're part of the space frame. So that's that done. The actual oil tank itself, if you look on here, you can see there's a separate piece that goes in the back. And what I've done here is filled it in around the seams, sanded it out. I've managed to get some tape residue or something on there, so just get rid of that. But I've sanded out the seams, radiused all the corners, repainted it with Tamiya LP11, and then masked off and painted the strap in LP65 rubber black. We've got this swirl pot thing, whatever it is here, and as you can see here, it was all black, I think, from memory, or was it painted? I can't remember now. But basically I've painted it in LP11, and then I've masked off the top and painted this top bit in LP48 sparkling silver. Now, when you look at the bolt heads and stuff, you can see on this one, I've actually painted the bolt heads just to add a bit of interest. And what we can do there, I've got these Galeri pens. These are from the Galeri website. They're absolutely brilliant. And you've got all these different colours down here. You can see all those different colours. And they are really, really nice. And they're lovely to use. So I'm just going to show you one. That's not the one I want. Is it this one I want? I used one earlier. This is the one. This is the one, I think. Yeah. Is that the one? I can't remember what colour I use now. Dark steel. There we go. So we'll give them a good shake. Okay. Give them a good shake, and then just get a piece of blotting paper, just to make sure it's coming out okay. And then we can literally go around with this, and it's actually an acrylic paint, and it is quite hard wearing, and it's got a very hard tip. So if you want to do stuff like this, like pick out emblems on model cars or bolt detail like I'm doing here, or edges of aluminium parts, polished parts, whatever, these things are brilliant because they've got a very hard tip, and you can see you can get absolutely lovely results straight off the bat without worrying about cleaning paintbrushes and stuff. Now, the lovely Phil, who's one of my biggest fans, has sent me the full set of the AK real colour pens, and I still haven't even opened the box. So sorry, Phil, if you're watching this. I need to give those a go as well. But these are particularly good for this fine detail work because they are so hard. You can also see here we've got these pumps here, so I can come along, and these screws there, I can just touch those and give them a, and what we're looking for here is subtlety. I don't want to have it all, you know, glaringly staring you in the face. I just want subtlety. There we go. You can pick up those bolts. We could go around and pick up those as well. But yeah, really, really nice. If you compare them to something like this, which is a Sharpie, you can see the end's a lot bigger, but it's also a lot softer. So when you come to touch things, it sort of, you know, squidges around and makes a bit of a mess. So that's all that done. I've also got in, you can see I've mixed up a goldy silver colour with Viejo paints and gone in and painted all the unions where the hoses are going to go. So that's all done. And then we've got the fuel filler here. I think I'm assuming this convoluted pipe is going to be rubber. I've glued this together, dealt with the seam, sprayed it LP7, dealt with the mould seam across the top there, and dealt with the seam around the side. So that's all looking a lot better. And there we go. And there's the top of the fuel tank in LP11, as you can see. So as I say, you don't have to do any of this extra work that I'm doing, but I just want to have it looking really nice. There is of course, the Martini number 22 car, or 23 car is it? I can't remember, 22 or 23, has been announced, and that's due for release fairly soon. And there's one of those on the way to me apparently, so we'll be building that one on here as well, along with the Pagani, the Utopia that we're going to be doing. This is the fuel filter. I've painted that white just to add a bit of interest, really, and that's not quite hard yet. So that's what we're doing there, and then you've already seen the parts from here. These are the lift pumps for the fuel filter, for the fuel. So those there are lifting the fuel out of the tank, pumping it into the swirl pot, and then it's all being pumped into the fuel injection system on the engine and going from there. These hoses, I was going to use braided, the Tamiya braided hose. However, looking at some original shots, it looks like they actually did have, they were either rubber pipes or they had a black nylon braid on them. So we're going to use the tubing as suggested in the kit. Now here you can see, I've gone back to here, this is step 15, I haven't done yet, and we've got the actual, this is the intake trumpets, and this was all made of fiberglass, and you can see that on here I've sanded out where the sprue gates were. We've also got a mould seam on there, I've just noticed we need to get rid of. You can see there's an edge around there. I don't know if you can see it on there, there's like a molded on edge. If I get a fine stick, we should be able to sand that and make it show. There we go. So you can see if I sand that now, you can see we've got an edge. So we're going to get rid of that. Underneath is white plastic. I'll probably give it a coat of primer, and then I'll spray it with my my mix for this fiberglass colour. I have been looking into trying to get hold of a resin so that I could remake these parts in a sort of translucent resin, and perhaps once I've remade them, then make the masters and actually scratch them on the inside to replicate the fiberglass look. But we shall see. I don't know. I probably won't ever get round to it. I've got so much on I want to do and so much I need to do. And there we go. There we are. So I'm going to sand off that seam all the way around, get this primed and painted, and then we're going to pick out these little circles here where the tubes come through. They'll be picked out in black, and then we've got the actual tops of the fuel injectors. They'll be picked out in silver, and then the pipe work goes on, as you can see there. So we've got a lot of work to do there. I've also looked forward in the instructions to here, and we've got this. This is the catch tank, and that is also fiberglass, and that is sat in a tray which is bolted to the chassis. So I don't know if that's black, it's probably aluminium, and then we've got this strap going around. And what I've done is this part here, you've got L5 and H4, I've glued that in, gone with super glue, and just sanded it out to get rid of that seam. We'll get some primer on there, see how it looks first, because I don't think it's particularly good. There might be a bit of a mark there, but we shall see. And then also here, we go back to here, we've got the fan going together. I've glued them together, and there are mould lines next to all the blades, so I've gone around and sanded them out. You can see there's one there still remaining, so I'll just sand that one out just to get rid of it. There's one still there as well, look. So you can see what I'm sanding out. You can see the difference between the white plastic and the yellow paint. We just sand that out. And there we go. It's the top that's most important. You're not really going to see much of the bottom anyway. And then that ring in the top there, that's like an aluminium or stainless steel ring. And then we've got this piece here. Where's it gone? It's in the bag here. No, where is it? Here it is. Got that piece there going in, and that's like a flexi drive. I got a feeling it should be black all around the outside edge, but I'll check my references again. And it was funny, I was reading that they used to, at every pit stop, they changed one of these bolts because these bolts used to shear off, probably through vibration. And they used to change one every pit stop, so that every 4 pit stops they changed all 4 of them because they didn't have time to change all 4 in one pit stop. So interesting little fact for you. Okay, so I'm going to go on and get these bits primed, get rid of this mould seam, and then I'll come back. And so we've got all those bits primed, and as you can see, the work on the back has paid off, so that's all lovely. We'll let that primer dry and give it a sand back, see how it looks. And I've gone round all the bare plastic edges. You may be wondering why I'm bothering priming it. It's because the mix I've got is made up with Tamiya XF colours, not LP. LP can be sprayed directly on plastic. XF can't. So if you spray it directly on plastic, it's not very hard wearing. You probably scratch the edge of that easily. So worth bearing in mind. So let's have a look at this assembly and see where we're going with this. So we've got this piece here. Let's get this over here out of the way. And so we've got this base here, and we've got parts here that are going together. We've got this swirl pot or whatever it is here. So that's going to be glued down into there like that. Okay, and then what I want to do first, I think, is fit this tank into this frame. Now this tank has a pipe coming off the bottom of it, as you can see here. And obviously if I put that pipe in, I wouldn't be able to get it in. So this is basically going that way up, and then this I can drop down in. I can't remember how I got it through now, but it will go. I can't remember how I got it in, but it does go. It needs a twist. I need to twist it for some reason. There we go. Yeah, it's twisted that. I was thinking twist that. Let's twist it that way so that that lug goes underneath. So we need to actually get that glued onto there. So what I'm going to do is pull that back. I don't understand why this is so difficult all of a sudden to get in and out when it was a doddle before. But what I want to do is get it apart so I can remove the paint. I can't remember how I got this apart now. There we go. I still don't know. It just came apart, didn't it? So we're basically going to scrape some paint off of here. We don't need to scrape it all off. We'll just scrape some away. Then we'll scrape some away from here as well. This knife feels like it's got something on it. It's got super glue on it or something. So it's not being a very good scraping tool. It's better. Okay, so we'll get that cleaned up like that. And then the same on here. We'll only scrape the inside edge. And then we'll grab some glue. I think what I'll do is put this together first. Blow away the debris. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll put that together, we'll put some glue on there, and then we'll just push it up together and that'll be it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my black thin, and if it oozes out, it won't necessarily show up too much on that chassis part. So we'll just have it this way up. Okay, and we'll glue the tank just like so. Keep the frame away. just like that. And then just push this up, blow that black dust away, push that up, and then just let it sit there and do its thing, let it dry. This VMS, this is the VMS black thin I'm using. It tends to take a little while to dry, so it's not like normal super glue where it just sort of, you know, instantly cures, which is a really good thing in most situations. But if you want a quick cure, then it's not a really good thing. And then this one here, what I'm going to do is glue this on. So that's going to go that way like that. What I'm going to do is glue it from under here. Okay, it doesn't need to be mega strong. I'm going to put some glue in from under here, and that way we won't get any glue marks on the outside. And what will happen, this will capillary in, it will go along the edge. That's absolutely fine. Just filling those holes up, just like that. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. I almost swore then. I almost said oh bollocks. Like I didn't, innit? Because you don't want to hear me saying oh bollocks, do you? So what I'm going to do is get this cotton bud, pick this up. I'm going to see if I can actually, there we go, we can make it look a bit tidier. Just pinch the end of the cotton bud, wipe it over once, twice. That will do. There we go. Right, throw that away. Never put cotton buds down that have had super glue on them, because you'll pick them up and touch something else, and if it's a clear part you'll scratch it and all that. So you've heard me say that a million times. So we're going to wait for this glue to dry now, and then once that's dry we can carry on with the assembly. Alright, just popping over the page a minute. Literally we're working on this, but we can work on this side at the same time. So we've got this fuel filler here, so that's going to pop into there like so, and then they've nicely got a screw in this together. I wish they had screwed that tank on. I think that would have been a lot neater. So we're going to put an E-screw in here, pull this down, just like so. Maybe that's tight. There we go. So that's a nice joint. So you can see it's worth taking the time to do these seams and everything. It's so worth it, rather than, you know, have big gaps and everything everywhere. And then it's telling us TU3, which is this tubing here. We want two lengths at 37 millimeters. So I think this is actually two lengths in here. Yeah, so we'll put one away. I've got a feeling this is silicone, which means the super glue may not glue it very well. We shall see. Right, so we've got two bits 37 millimeters. So I'm going to grab one of my little Roller-matic rules and my God hands and just cut this off square on there. These things are great for cutting a vinyl tube. And then what we're going to do is 37 millimeters there, and then with the God hands, nice and square, cut the end, and then we'll get another one here, cut the end, there we are. So we've got a nice square cut on there, and then these are going to go onto there. You can see there's a tiny little nubbin for it to go over, and it's quite a loose fit, so they're going to have to be glued. Now I can't remember the saying I'm looking for. The proof will be in the pudding. Proof is in the pudding. I can't remember if it's going to stick or not. I'm not sure. So what we'll do is we'll just do these two, and then we'll leave them for a little while to dry and see if it actually sticks, because when we got tubing going into more awkward places, we want to know that it's going to stay there. So that one's going on there, and that one's going on there. So there we are, we got those there. You can see I've painted those nuts a slightly different colour to give them like a CAD plated look, and just sort of just makes everything look a bit nicer, doesn't it? Okay, so we'll leave those on there for a while. So now we've got 3 lots of drying to do. All right, I've also cut those 2 tubes there for those lift pumps. So that's some tubing done for now. So now we've got all this here waiting to dry. Just look at this tank. You can see it. This is the reason I like to use grey primer. You look at things, you think, oh, that seems really good. But when you look around here, you can see we've got a little pocket there, a pocket there, there, and then a few little pockets up there. So we're going to get those filled in with the drop of super glue. Okay, and then we can get them sanded out after that's dry. So once again, that's something else waiting to dry. And I've got a feeling this is either going to be a very short video or it's going to go out on Sunday, because I wasn't expecting all this waiting time. I thought all the painting was pretty much done, but obviously dreamt that. As some of you all know, I wasn't well last week. Still got the remnants of it hanging around now. And I'm not saying I can't make models when I've got a cold, because a lot of people call it flu. It's not flu, it's a nasty cold. But I couldn't see anything, that's the trouble, because my eyes were constantly streaming. So that was the issue. Right, so there's those holes all filled in. So that can be put back on its stand to dry. And then we'll get that primed again and painted after it's all sanded down. Right, back in a bit. Just come back over the page again, and looking here, we've got some hoses to go on here as well. So what I'm going to do is get those cut. So we've got one at 76. So we'll grab our God hands. So I'm sort of scratching around for things to do to make a video. It's my own bloody fault for not doing it earlier. I had those aftermarket parts for Gerald R. Ford lying around, and I know that someone was desperate to see them. So I thought I'd better get that video done and put out, and I should have been working on this really. Never mind. So we'll put a drop of glue on there. I'm just hoping this super glue works, because if it doesn't, I don't know what we're going to do. I guess what we'll have to do is drill out the pins and put a longer brass pin in of a larger diameter so that the hoses stay on. I don't know, I'll try a different super glue, I guess. Yeah, you see this, because this stuff isn't instant, it's not very user friendly with jobs like this. There we go, we'll just leave that to dry like that. And then we've got another one going onto that filter. So that one is also 76. And we've got to be careful with our plumbing of this, because the way it's shown here is it's like it's all in position, but there's nothing to hold it. It all gets fitted onto the side of the chassis afterwards. So this one is going onto there, like so. So what we'll do here is get a drop of glue on there. Okay, and then we'll get that pipe onto there, give it a twist to spread the glue. Just hold it. That's not going to stay on there, is it? Not at all. So we'll lay it down again, place the pipe on there, and just leave it. pulling itself away. Why didn't they put a bigger pin on there or a smaller pipe? It's Tamiya have got this sort of stuff off to a T, haven't they? They've got this brilliantly managed. So I'm going to rest my knife on there, keep that held down. Tell you what I'm going to try. I'm going to try a spot of accelerator, see what happens. It looks like it's starting to bite actually, so that's a good thing. Drop of accelerator on there. Let's see what happens. The answer to that is basically nothing, and the accelerator is affecting the vinyl tube. So that's out of the question, isn't it? The accelerator, if you look, the end of that vinyl tube has gone bell-mouthed. We just cut some. No, it's I'm going to make another piece. I don't like that at all. It really has affected it. It's probably capillary down the tube. So what we shall do is .76mm, nice square cut, another drop of super glue on there, and then plonk this pipe on like so. And it looks like that little bit of accelerator that was on there first of all has worked. So we'll lay that down and just leave it to dry. So it could be that we need to put a drop of accelerator on the pin, then the super glue, and then put it together. That could be the way to go. I'm not going to tempt fate. I'm going to leave them all to dry for a while. There is one more we could do, which is over the page, which means moving that one. We have, coming off of that wide piece, we have a tube here which is 159mm long. So 159. That's about 159, isn't it? I'm sure they're all going to be too long anyway. And then we can, we'll try that again actually, try this, a drop of accelerator, like that, then a drop of super glue, and then push the hose on. And just wait for it to dry. So there we go, guys. Right. So do we call that a day now, or do we do a bit more and then put the video out a day late? What should we do? We're on about half an hour. I think I'll call it a day and maybe put another one out for you tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday or something. Get this. We do need to get our ass in gear and get this done, because before we know it, that Pagani's going to be here, and I don't want to have two Pocher projects on the go at the same time, because that'll blow your mind. I'd rather have them, consecutive. So yeah, I'll see you. If not before, I'll see you next week, and we will get some more done on this. As I say, what I'm going to do now is go on and sand those spots out there, give it another coat of primer, spray all that yellow, and then what we can do next time after we've done all this, we can go back to step 15, which is there, and do some work on that. But I've got a lot of detail painting to do on that part first, so we'll see how we go. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I will see you all next week. And we need to get our ass in gear with this, don't we? So, well, I need to get my ass in gear in this, don't I? Not we. I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.